What's up, everyone? Welcome to Max's Football Playbook, your go-to spot for power rankings, weekly game predictions, and off-season discussions like the draft or free agency. This is episode 3, and today we're doing a one-round NFL mock draft. However, this time, like I said before, we're going to have a trade, and in this video, we're going to have at least one trade. The goal today is to continue experimenting with potential draft outcomes and inform you guys with some potential shocking trades that can happen. Anyways, let's get into it. With the first pick, we're going to go Fernando Mendoza. With Mendoza, you're getting a guy with great character, but a guy who is going to need a great system around him. He's kind of like Jared Goff in a way. So it's going to be very crucial that Kubiak and that staff and the GM could find an offensive line and a good supporting cast around him that can help him succeed in the NFL. With the second pick, the New York Jets are going to take Arvell Reese. Last time we did this mock draft, we took Ruben Bain, but it's also 50-50 shot that Arvell Reese will go to the Jets. So in this one, we'll take Arvell Reese. The reason why you take Arvell Reese instead of Ruben Bain is because the Jets do need a linebacker and an edge, and so Arvell Reese can do a little bit of both, and you can use him as an outside linebacker. Next up at 3, last time we went with Spencer Fano, but I'm going to go with Francis Mauigoa. Hope I'm saying that right. Probably I'm not. But the reason why you go with Francis is because he's a better offensive tackle. Even if the fit isn't exactly as good as Fano, I could see them taking Francis, and of course, like I said, we're working on continuing experimenting with different possibilities, so that's a possibility right there. With the fourth pick, the Tennessee Titans are going to take David Bailey over Ruben Bain, and the reason is that the Tennessee Titans defense has guys who can defend the run, but they need a guy who can defend the pass more, and Ruben Bain is a little bit more balanced. However, David Bailey is more of a defensive pass rusher, so if you want that pass rush, you better take David Bailey. Here, with the Giants, last time we went with offensive tackle Francis, but this time we're going to go with wide receiver, and we're going to go with Mekhi Lemon. The reason why you take Mekhi Lemon here is because I think they don't want to take an injured player, which is Jordan Tyson. And Carnell Tate, in a way, is kind of like Malik Neighbors. So the way you get a better fit is by taking Mekhi Lemon, who can play more of the slot role, while your deep threat could be Malik Neighbors. With the Cleveland Browns, they're going to take Carnell Tate, just like last time. They're going to go with the wide receiver from Ohio. Carnell Tate is probably the safest prospect, and they need someone who can contribute as quick as possible. So it makes the most sense in this situation. Here, our first trade is going to be the Commanders trading down with the Steelers for pick 21, 53, 99, actually 85, 121, and pick 7. The reason the Steelers do this is because Jordan Tyson is left here, and without the medical concerns, he'd probably be the best wide receiver in this draft. And if you look at their draft capital, they had a lot of it, so it makes sense that they would give it up. And the reason why the Commanders would trade down is because they don't have much draft capital. They don't have a second round pick. So by trading with the Steelers, they get a lot more draft capital in day 2, and they give themselves more picks to draft other players. Here, the Steelers, like I said, are going to take Jordan Tyson because they need a wide receiver. That's their biggest need. With Jordan Tyson, it depends on if his medicals are good or bad. I think if his medicals look fine, then he's going to turn out to be a stud. If it's not as good, then he might play a limited amount of time. However, when he does play, he'll probably be really good. With the Saints here, last time we went with Mekhi Lemon, but as you can see, Mekhi Lemon, Carnell Tate, and Jordan Tyson are all off the board. So a big need of theirs is edge, And the best edge available by far is Ruben Vane. They're getting a steal here. Makes a lot of sense, and it's a great fit at that point. Now with the Chiefs, we did this the first time. We're going to do it a second time. Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs. This one makes a lot of sense because their offense was very pass heavy, and it helped defenses just be able to focus on that. But with Jeremiah Love, you're able to balance out your offense and make Patrick Mahomes not have to rely as much as scrambling and passing, which will make it harder to stop that Chiefs offense. With the Bengals here, last time we went with Caleb Downs, and so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take Caleb Downs here. Caleb Downs is the best player. He's 100% the safest player, and for a defense that needs anything, you should just take the best defense player available, and that is Caleb Downs. Here, with the Dolphins, you could go wide receiver, given the news that they just released Tyreek Hill, which is not too shocking. It makes sense. Saves a lot of money. So you definitely could consider an offensive weapon. However, I'm going to continue to go cornerback. And just like in the last draft, I'm going to go Mansour Delane because Jermod McCoy has injury issues. So it makes a lot of sense to take a safer prospect. And that's what teams typically do. So that's what I think they're going to do. With the Cowboys, they're going to take Sonny Styles. Pretty sure we did this last time as well. Reason why you do this is because maybe their biggest need is linebacker, and Sonny Styles is a top 5 player. He's a really good tackler, and he's one of the safest prospects. Reason why he falls, of course, is his position value is a lot lower. Next up with the Rams, they're going to take Jermod McCoy. I do realize that I did make a mistake. I put McCoy going to the Dolphins and Delane going to the Rams. Let's just imagine that they were flipped. And the reason why the Rams take it is because they need cornerback. He's the best one available probably. His tape would be top 5 worthy, but of course he didn't play last season because of injuries, so he falls. Here, the Ravens. Last time we went with Vega Ioane, an offensive lineman. However, here, I think you go with the best defensive lineman available because it's really important that you get to the quarterback. And the best defensive lineman available is Peter Woods out of Clemson. Next up, with the Bucs. I'm obviously not a big Cassius Howell fan, but I'm going to have them taking him here because it just makes sense. They need a linebacker and an edge. Howell is obviously a smaller player, so he's like an outside linebacker, so he could fit. And I think the reason why you take him here is because it's a situation where I can see it working out, and it's also a pick that I could see the Bucs taking, unfortunately. Here at pick 16, last time we went with a wide receiver. I think it was Jordan Tyson because he fell because of injury issues. Obviously, this time we had the Steelers trading up for him and drafting him a lot higher. So we're going to continue to build up that defense. The Jets last season did not record a single pick, which is insane. So how do you do that? You draft a playmaking cornerback and the best one available in Abion Terrell, who could hopefully at least get you one next season. As we're halfway through the draft, I just wanted to remind you guys to like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Here with the Lions, last time we went with an offensive lineman, Caden Proctor. However, this time Vega Ioane falls, and he's obviously in my opinion, like I said before, he's the best offensive lineman in this class. However, he's a guard position, so he's valued a little less. And I think because the Lions do need any position on that offensive line, Vega Ioane makes sense here as the best player of position that they need. Here at 18, the Vikings. Last time, I'm pretty sure we went with Peter Woods. However, here we're going to go with Colton Hood. Obviously, this website has him ranked a lot lower at 47. However, people have been mocking him a lot higher. And the good thing about Colton Hood is that he's a really good press man corner, which is exactly what Brian Flores likes in his defense, in that aggressive defense that plays a lot of man and likes to blitz. And obviously the worry is that playing that defense, if you don't have guys who can make tackles, then it can be exposed. However, Colton Hood is a really good tackler, and he's just a perfect fit for that Vikings defense that does probably need some help in the secondary. Here with the Panthers, I'm pretty sure we did this last time, but we're going to do it again because it makes a lot of sense. We're going to go with the guy with one of the highest floors, but also can help them immediately in pass rush, which is their biggest weakness, TJ Parker. Here with the Cowboys, we're going to take Keldrick Folk. Obviously, this pick was one that they got from Micah Parsons' trade. And after losing Micah, their biggest weakness was 100% the run defense. And how do you fix that? You get a guy who specialty was run defense, a really young player who has a bigger body and could help out this run defense immediately. Here, after trading down the Washington Commanders, we're going to have them go with an edge, which could be Akeem Mesidor. However, their team is a lot older, and I don't know if they want a guy who's going to be 25 on draft night. So let's go CJ Allen. CJ Allen is a big thumper, and I know that he's going to have a lot of coaching availability to him with Bobby Wagner, who is an older player who can help him in his first year a lot, and I think it could be like a good transition from the linebacker position when Bobby retires and CJ Allen eventually, you hope, becomes middle linebacker 1. Here with the Chargers, pretty sure we went offensive line last time. You can consider defensive line. However, we're going to continue to build up that offensive line. And here, like I said, probably should go for an interior offensive lineman, and that is Caden Proctor. Even though Spencer Fano is probably better, Proctor is more fitting to go into guard. Fano still can too, but I project Proctor to fit more that mold as an offensive guard, so it makes sense for the Chargers to take that here. Here at pick 23, obviously you guys would probably think we could go trenches with the Eagles. However, their tight end 1 and their tight end 2 are both going to be free agents. So let's take Kenyon Sadiq. Hopefully you can bring back their tight end 1, which was Dallas Goedert, and him and Sadiq would form a great pairing on an offense that is obviously probably more needing of help than that defense, which is already pretty good. At 24, the Browns are going to get lucky here. Spencer Fano is going to fall to them, and they're going to get a great guy who's probably more fitting to be an offensive tackle, but also can be a guard. And it helps address both their needs, which is getting a wide receiver with Carnell Tate and an offensive tackle with Spencer Fano. I'm pretty sure this is something similar as to what we did last time, so I'll try to mix it up for the next draft, guys. Here, sorry Bears fans, I know that you guys have seen this a lot, but we're going to go Caden McDonald to the Bears. It just makes too much sense. You're getting another Tyleik Williams, but except he's better. And Caden McDonald is going to be a great helper in the run immediately. And he should project as a good pass defender in the future after a bit of improvement. Here, with the Bills, we're going to have our second and final trade of the night. We're going to have the Bills trading up with the Eagles in an A.J. Brown trade. So they're going to give up 26. Eagles will just give up a 7th, just pretend. It's going to be the 26th pick for A.J. Brown. The reason the Bills would do this is because they need a wide receiver. That's their biggest need. And they really want to win right now. So a way you do it is by getting a polished guy in A.J. Brown who could immediately be your wide receiver 1. The reason why the Eagles do this is because there has been some tension and maybe they want to move off of him. And with taking Kenyon Sadiq and here taking Denzel Boston, another big body wide receiver, you could have a fresh start and you could save a lot of money, which you could spend elsewhere in your roster. Here with the 49ers, we're going to take Casey Concepcion. The reason you take Casey Concepcion is because he's a big playmaker and he kind of reminds you of Deebo Samuel, kind of like a Luther Burden type player. And that's kind of what the 49ers need in their offense to take off the workload from Christian McCaffrey and be able to save him for more important plays later in their season. Here with the Texans, we're going to go offensive line in Emmanuel Pregnon. He's a player who can step in right away and contribute immediately to that offensive line and help CJ Stroud maybe not throw as many picks in that playoff game and play better, which could lead them to a Super Bowl next season. Here with the Rams, we went with Jermod McCoy, even though I accidentally clicked Mansour Delane with the 13th pick. And here, we did this last time, but we're going to do it again. Ty Simpson to the Rams. The reason why they do this, obviously, is because Matthew is getting older, and Ty Simpson is a player who could use a few years behind Matthew Stafford, and a great situation that I think he could become a star in LA after he retires. Here with the Broncos, it would be nice to take a linebacker. However, the Commanders did take CJ Allen. However, they also do have a big need in getting another playmaker. And obviously, it would be nice to get Kenyon Sadiq, but he was taken by the Eagles with pick 23. So here, they're going to take a guy that a lot more people have been higher on, and I think he's a top 30 player, Omar Cooper. Omar Cooper kind of has those DJ Moore-like traits, who you just get him the ball in a screenplay and he'll make a play for you. Obviously, he did show up in that big moment for Indiana's season against Penn State, where he made that incredible catch. Probably was the catch of the college football season. You guys better check it out. He would be an immediate contributor who would fit that Sean Payton offense of wanting to throw those screen passes and getting big plays out of it. With 2 picks left, we got the New England Patriots. Last time we went with an offensive tackle. However, let's do something different. This time, we're going to take Akeem Mesidor because they could need some edge rushers, and they're obviously a team that wants to be back in the Super Bowl. So how do you do that? You get a 25-year-old who's going to be pro-ready and is going to have the biggest potential impact for that team year one of the players available to be selected. Finally, to round out this draft, last time we went with Avion Terrell to the Seattle Seahawks. This time he was taken, so we're going to take Brandon Cisse. Cisse is a player from South Carolina who, like Imanwari, who is also from South Carolina, projects to test really well, and I think you could have a similar type testing combine to Nicky Minwari, and I think the Seahawks would love that. At a position of need, it makes a lot of sense. And that defense is great, so I think they'd really be able to take advantage of his athleticism and put it to good work. Thank you guys for watching this mock draft. This is the recap if you guys want to see what we did. I hope you liked the A.J. Brown trade to the Bills for pick 26 and the Steelers trading up for Jordan Tyson. Meanwhile, the Commanders trading down for more picks and CJ Allen. Let me know what you guys would like to see in future videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, see you guys.